Hello, working people of Southwest Washington.
You're listening to episode 28 of Working to Live in Southwest Washington, produced by the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council. We're also a proud member of the Labor Radio Podcast Network, with over 150 radio shows and podcasts for working people just like you. Find out more about the network at laborradionetwork.org.
I'm Shannon Myers.
And I'm Harold Phillips.
But before we get started, we wanted to remind you that the views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council, its affiliate unions, our guest unions, or their employers, not even the guest host that gets slapped during the award show.
Oh,
Nobody.
No. We don't talk about that. No.
Nobody but themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay, now that we've got that over with. Hey, Shannon, you feel like we're in a little bit of a time warp here?
Yeah, Harold, this is pretty weird. We actually recorded this episode before we recorded our last episode about the Evergreen School District Replacement Levy.
Oh, and if you haven't listened to that episode, put this one on pause right now and go listen to it. Ballots for the levy have to be in by April 26th. If you live in the Evergreen School District, you need to get your ballot in. If you know someone in the Evergreen School District, tell them to get their ballot in.
And if you're listening to this episode after April 26th, well, you're in a bit of a time warp too. But we're not here to talk about the levy. We're here to talk about our Labor Heroes of Southwest Washington Awards that happened back in February.
Yeah, Shannon, hang on a second. You're still stuck in that time warp. Let me see if I can fix this. 1 second. There we go.
We wanted to give an update of how that went and to remind everybody that this was an awesome 100% union event. We had IATSE crew, we had Actors Equity MC,
Yeah,
we
you did.
had, we did in Herald. We had our amazing Minuteman Press, who is represented by CWA 7812. That's the Minuteman Press in Vancouver off of Highway 99. We also were at the Vancouver Hilton, which of course is represented by our amazing Unite Here Local 8. And let's not forget that we raised $6,000 for our amazing union charity, Labor's Community Services Agency. So,
I think the night was a huge success, but I know you needed some time to recover because it was a heavy lift. And I know you couldn't have done it without your partner in crime, Diana Winter, who's here with us now. Thanks so much for joining us, Diana.
Thanks for having me on, Shannon and Harold. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and celebrate our awesome event.
Fans of the show will remember from episode 19 that Diana is a labor attorney who works with IBEW Local 48. But what they may not know is that Diana's also the president of the Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Central Labor Council, who joined the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council in the production of these awards. Diana, why did your labor council work with Southwest Washington on these awards instead of putting together your own award show?
Solidarity. That's always a good answer for everything that we do together, right? But part of it comes down to the fact that Southwest Washington is a fantastic labor council that really has a lot of things dialed in so that they have the capacity to do these sort of amazing events. Cowlitz-Wahkiakum is a smaller council. In fact, we're sort of regrouping, especially after COVID, and really trying to re-engage our affiliates. So we don't currently have the capacity to pull that off, but we recognize that this award dinner was a great opportunity to reach out to our affiliates and to get them re-engaged and to remind them of all of the awesome things that we have going on in the Southwest Washington area.
You say the Southwest Washington area. People outside our area may not know what the difference is between Southwest Washington Central Labor Council and the Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Central Labor Council. How far away are you folks from us here in the Vancouver area?
Not super far, but Cowlitz County and Wahkiakum counties. We have a much more rural constituency up in this area and quite a bit more spread out than folks are down in the Clark County area. But I know Clark County isn't just all of what Southwest Washington is. They have some rural folks as well over in part of Skamania County. So it's important, I think, to try to engage everybody in your area. And I know we're working hard to try to get folks over in our Wahkiakum County as well involved.
I always like to say that our CLCs are neighbors because our counties stop just where yours begins. So we actually represent Clark, Skamania, and a little bit of West Klickitat as well. And we just bump right up to that Cowlitz and Wahkiakum. And that's why I think it just makes sense that as Southwest Washington, we're stronger together. It's that solidarity piece, sister. Absolutely. 2 labor councils are stronger than one. 3 is even better.
Most definitely.
Why was it so important to put this awards show on to honor the labor heroes of Southwest Washington?
Because all of the people in Southwest Washington who are working at our labor councils are 100% volunteer. Some of us may have jobs working at our individual unions as a rep or, as in Diana's case, a attorney, but there's a bunch of us who are just rank and file union members. And it's important for us to let those volunteers who give so much of their time know that they're appreciated, let them know that what they do makes a difference, not only in our labor community, but in our community as a whole. And a lot of times we're constantly working. Sometimes it's just nice to say, you know what, we need a break. Let's break some bread and celebrate each other.
I could not have said it better.
Shannon brought up a really good point, Diana. Some of the recipients of these awards do have jobs with unions, but they still volunteer their time, right? You work for IBEW 48, but you're volunteering as the president of your Central Labor Council.
Yep, there is no paid staff at either one of our Cs. And although I think it's great that some of our other folks throughout the state have the capacity for that, it is amazing the amount of work that we are able to do with all volunteers.
And I think that goes throughout all of labor. Even if someone has a job working with a labor union, they still stay involved in their community, right? They still volunteer their time outside those work hours.
Most definitely. And I can give you an example. Our previous president of the Cowlitz Wahkiakum CLC, Tara McElgott, is a chemical worker. Like, she literally works at a chemical plant. And right now she is working 16-hour days to make up for some losses that they're having and shortages of staff. So she still finds time to give what she can to our labor council. And I think she's amazing. And you'll hear more about why I feel that way later.
And that's just one example. I know there are plenty of union members out there who coach soccer teams, who are scout leaders, who make time to go to their county council meetings. Part of being in labor is getting engaged with your community. And that's one of the things that you all wanted to honor with these awards, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about those awards. Now, there were 6 awards that were given out at the event on February 4th. How did you come up with the award categories? What was that process?
I think
So
the process was in part trying to make sure that we were recognizing union folks. A lot of other award dinners that we go to reach more out into the community and recognize other people. And we were trying to be really union member centric and union affiliate centric when we made those choices.
And so how we came up with those was brainstorming. I think I came up with a couple and Diana came up with a couple. And then we actually have a committee, a dinner committee. We have people from my labor council, the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council, and we have others from Diana's labor council, the Cowlitz Wahkiakum. And they actually are the ones that said, yes, these are the awards. We think we should move forward with those because as we do in all of our votes, we are extremely transparent and we are very democratic into the respect that we always have votes on pretty much everything that we do. So we put those together and then the committee voted on those awards.
And did this committee also come up with the nominations for the people who received the awards?
No, all the nominations come from delegates, who are the people who attend our meetings, comes from affiliates, which are the unions that belong to our central labor councils, or it could come from any rank and file union member that is within our jurisdictions. So anybody within labor can nominate anybody within labor to try to win these awards.
And did you get a lot of nominations?
It was very competitive.
Who decided on the winners then? Was that the committee? Once you received the nominations, then the committee voted on them?
Yes, that is our process. So we presented the potential recipients, the nominees, to the committee, and we shared with them the reasons that they were nominated. So the individual member who made the nomination or the union that made the nomination wrote a little synopsis as to why they thought that individual or that union deserved to receive that award. We shared that with the committee, and then they voted.
And that brings us to the recipients of the awards themselves. And I just have to say, as a little inside baseball moment, you guys had an MC that was running the event, I seem to recall. How much notice did the MC get of who received these awards?
Plenty of time.
1 day, not even 1 day, if memory serves.
We'll do better next time, Harold, I promise. You got to give us a break. It was the first one. Come on.
It only
Well,
gets better
anyway.
from here.
Yes.
Anyways, I think it's important to point out here that each labor council, the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council and the Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Central Labor Council, gave their own awards at this event. Is that right?
Yes.
And we did that because these are two separate entities who have amazing volunteers. And although we are celebrating together, we do represent two very different and unique communities. And therefore, we need to highlight those in each of our communities. And so that's why we decided that we would have these awards, but that each Central Labor Council would have honorees.
Let's go ahead and get into the awards. So the first award was the Union Ally of the Year Award. And what is the Union Ally of the Year Award?
So the Union Ally of the Year Award is given to political leaders and community members who stood side by side with labor to make sure working people are safe and treated with dignity and respect.
Diana, Cowlitz-Wahkiakum did something a little bit different with this award, right?
Yes, we did. We had 2 nominations for this award. One is our local contractor, J.H. Kelly, and the other one was the Longview School District. And when it came down to it, we gave them both an award. And there's a very particular reason for that. So the Longview School District has a first of its kind pre-apprenticeship program that's housed at Mark Morris High School. The reason it's so special is because it's actually recognized by the state's apprenticeship council. Those who graduate from this particular program have a variety of options for their future. Some folks, depending on what trade they're interested in, could get direct entry into those apprenticeship programs. For other trades, it gives them at least a leg up in the interview process for when they consider what their future career is going to be. They get great hand-on experience working with a variety of different tools and trades. And it really helps these folks understand that there is a different alternative for their future that can give you a great family wage job with great benefits that doesn't require getting into a ton of student debt by going to college.
So where does this other recipient, J.H. Kelly, come in?
When they started up the program in the Longview School District, J.H. Kelly is the organization that helped provide the seed money to make this really happen.
Ah, do they participate in the pre-apprenticeship program?
They helped provide the funding for the start of it, and then folks can go visit Kelly and see some of the stuff that they have going on in their prefab shop so that folks can get a look at what the options are for them in the future. They actually have their own staff through the school that are very versatile in all the different things that they can provide education on. And they also follow the NAB2 MC3 program, which is basically a program that's developed by North America's building trades unions so that they had a foundation for how to make sure that they were covering a wide variety of skills and trades.
I'd love to hear about this partnership with a business and a school district and the labor unions, because it shows that we all have to work together to make this whole thing called work and life work, right? So if you're a company, you need skilled workers. Where are you going to find those workers? Well, guess what? J.H. Kelly just supported the program that's going to give their business skilled workers in their area. So long term, way to go, J.H. Kelly. Way to think ahead. You're getting your skilled workers trained for you right now through the school district. It's a great program.
And speaking of helping people who work, I think that has something to do with Southwest Washington's recipient of this award, right, Shannon?
Oh my gosh. Well, we did have amazing nominees, but it couldn't have gone to anybody else. Without a doubt, it went to Labor's Community Services Agency. We've talked about this group on this show multiple times. This is a nonprofit. It's our nonprofit. It's the labor movement's nonprofit that helps all of our workers when they need it most. They give presents out at Christmas dinners, turkey dinners. If somebody doesn't have gas to get to an interview or they job, we can help you. If you can't pay your rent, guess what? We have somebody that's going to be able to help you. If you are out of luck, LCSA and Erin and her staff are always there. And that is absolutely why they are our union ally always, not just for 1 year, but for every year.
Now, the next award is the Volunteer of the Year award. And we talked a little earlier about how people in labor tend to volunteer. But what was the thing that really set these winners apart from all the people in labor who give their time to their communities?
For those of us at Cowlitz Wahkiakum, we knew immediately who we thought the recipient of this award should be. And that is our former president, Tara McElligott. She has been working amazingly crazy hours. She is a rank and file member. She is active in her union. She is the steward for her location. She is bargaining at the table. She is doing amazing things and still had time to give to the Labor Council, to help organize events, to help make sure that she was showing up as a face of labor at rallies for the nurses. She works sometimes 16 hours a day and still has the capacity to do those sorts of things. So although we have amazing, wonderful people working up here in Cowlitz Wahkiakum on behalf of the labor movement, there was no doubt that Tara deserved that award.
And Shannon, when it comes to Southwest Washington's recipients of this award, you gave out 2 awards to 3 people. How did that work?
Well, that's because we have a couple of amazing retirees in Southwest Washington Central Labor Council. They come out of the Bakers Union, Bakers 364, and one of them is John Murphy and the other is Doug Long. And we get an extra bonus with our brother Doug Long. He has an amazing wife named Leah. When John volunteers, usually Doug is right with them. And of course, Leah is also retired. So we get all 3 of them. So we thought that since they are volunteering at absolutely every single thing we do, everything, even the political stuff, they're volunteering for that too. We wouldn't have had our food bank without them. So that is why we had to give the award to John, Doug, and Leah.
The next award was Union Member of the Year. Now, what is that award given out for?
I'm refusing to talk about this one.
You're going to be stuck.
The Union Member of the Year is for those members who are just outstanding, that they're outstanding for their union. They do good there. They do good for our Labor Council. And they are just all around amazing rank and file union member. And that is why at Southwest Washington Central Labor Council, Diana Winther, our own Diana, is our amazing union member of the year. And nobody deserves it more than she does.
I would debate that with you, but since I got outvoted on that process, it doesn't really matter.
Just say
thank you.
thank you. Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. I felt very honored. Thank you.
Well, Diana, Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Central Labor Council also had a union member of the year, right?
Yes, we did. That union member was Kathleen Arnson from WSNA. So Kathleen Arnson was nominated for her hard work with the recent contract negotiations at Peace Health St. John. As we all know, the past couple years have been crazy stressful for working people everywhere, but we have to give special love and recognition to our nurses and those workers in healthcare. So Kathy was instrumental in the contract negotiations to make sure that work group got a contract that they deserved. And she's also constantly working with legislators to make sure state staffing issues are being addressed. That's an ongoing battle for our union siblings in the nursing and healthcare world. And it's going to be an ongoing battle for a bit longer, it seems like. But we are definitely wanting to stand in solidarity with those folks. And we definitely wanted to make sure that Kathy was appreciated for the work that she's doing for her brothers and sisters and siblings.
You also had a union leader of the year. So what's the difference between union member of the year and union leader of the year?
When you think about union members, we're all leaders in a certain way. We're all doing our best to support our siblings in the labor movement and trying to do better things for working people. But those who are the union member of the year are typically your rank and file folks. When you think about the union leader of the year, that's someone that's working hard to inspire and fight for their members and encouraging the community to take action, and is often in some sort of leadership role more so than your standard rank and file individual.
So, Shannon, who did Southwest Washington decide was the union leader of the year?
Our union leader of the year actually comes out of WSNA as well, one of our nurses. And Diana explained a lot of why the union member of the year was selected, but Dawn Merrick from WSNA was actually voted union leader of the year here. She is one of the leaders of the Peace Health Southwest unit with our state nurses, and she was nominated for her leadership with the contract negotiations. Also, they've had a lot of problems with management in regards to COVID safety restrictions and also extra COVID pay. And so she had been doing a lot of stuff with that. They had one of their best contracts. They actually had a rally, and Dawn was there organizing that with our sister Dee Dee Gray. And that is why a nurse received our union leader of the year.
Diana, it was a public employee who received Cowlitz-Wahkiakum's Union Leader of the Year award, correct?
Kind of. So Sean Nyman is on staff with SEIU 925, and she represents a lot of the folks in the public sector. She negotiates the contracts. I think she covers 7 different school districts, including the ones up here in Cowlitz County, but she also goes down further into Vancouver as well. I think she's recently negotiating Woodland. So she is all over the place. And that's one of the reasons that we decided to recognize her, is because she's doing amazing work for her members, negotiating those contracts. Because much like our union siblings with the nurses, those in education have had a really rough couple years, trying to make sure that they're providing services for their students, trying to keep their faculty and staff safe, trying to make sure that conditions are being maintained while we're all trying to figure out what to do with online school and partially in-person school and all the different crazy iterations that we've gone through in the last couple years. So she's done amazing work and goes above and beyond, attends school board meetings, and is always trying to make sure that her members are represented, getting fair wages and working conditions, and does a great job in rallying the rest of the community to stand with her and with her members. So we really felt she deserved that recognition.
You know, you mentioned negotiating contracts. There was a pretty big contract negotiation that the winner of Cowlitz-Wahkiakum's Union of the Year award was involved with, right?
Yes, indeed. So our Union of the Year award went to the brand new Longview News Guild. Now, when they were actually receiving the award back in February, they had not yet achieved their first contract.
And that was actually part of the awards show. If I remember, you stood up at the mic and ran a little letter writing campaign, didn't you?
Absolutely. And we made it as easy as humanly possible for everyone to participate. Had a cool little QR code on a laminated sheet of paper on everybody's table, and they could just pass it around and scan in their phone and send a letter to Lee Enterprises, who owns the Daily News, which is where these lovely workers work. And I am proud to report that they do have a first contract. Yay! We still have a long way to go in trying to make sure that they're getting better wages, but their working conditions definitely improved. They have a lot of things that they didn't have in writing before, and they even think got an extra day of vacation. They're getting time and a half when they work on holidays. Those are just basic things that a lot of us in the labor movement take for granted. They now have locked into writing.
Woohoo!
And I'm just going to assume that it was our labor awards dinner that probably pushed that over the edge, didn't it?
Absolutely. All the credit.
Well, it helped for sure. It always helps. That's what solidarity is all about.
Speaking of solidarity, Shannon, Southwest Washington's Union of the Year had a lot of solidarity from the community down here, right?
Yes. You know what? We actually had 2 nominees for this award, and I'm going to mention both of them. The first one was the Vancouver Association of Education Support Professionals, VAESP. These are all of those support staff at the Vancouver School District. They were the ones that were actually laid off, if you remember, way back in December, not this December, last December, 2020. We had a food bank for them. They actually rallied. They had a contract coming up. They stayed strong. Barb Plymate, their leader there, organized them to where they actually have gotten the best contract that they've ever received. But they weren't the winners. The winners was the Clark College Association of Higher Education, because I tell you what, Suzanne Sutherland, the president there, has really shaped up all of those members and gotten them engaged and excited. They actually went out on strike right before COVID in the snow here in Vancouver, and we won that contract. And when they were up for a contract 2 years later, Clark College settled quickly. And the reason that they settled quickly is because they knew that the Clark College Association of Higher Education had all of labor behind them, and therefore they did not want to see that again. So our award for Union of the Year went to CCAHE, Clark College.
There was one more award. It was sort of the award shows best picture, you might say. The In Solidarity Award. Now, what is the In Solidarity Award all about?
The Solidarity Award is what the labor movement is about. Solidarity is who within our movement has taken that word to a new level. That's working with everybody. That's making sure that from our cement masons to our electricians to our educators to our service employees to our hotel employees, they all feel welcome. They all feel involved. They all feel a part of the family. And who within our team makes that happen? There are a bunch of us that make it happen, because without every piece, we wouldn't have that solidarity. But there's one person that you can probably point out that really has that solidarity piece. And that is why we have that In Solidarity Award. And that's why it's so special to us, because without solidarity, we wouldn't have a movement.
Diana Kelitz-Wakayakum gave this award to an amazing dynamic leader, didn't they?
They certainly did. So the In Solidarity Award went to Mike Bridges from the Kelitz-Wakayakum Central Labor Council. And let me tell you, boy, was he surprised, because he had no idea, which I find particularly hilarious since he is, of course, on the Kelitz-Wakayakum CLC's executive board as a trustee and was previously the vice president. So we worked really hard to keep that secret from him, but he's incredibly deserving for the work that he does as president of the Longview-Kelso Building Trades Council. That position can be very challenging, trying to make sure that work within our community goes to those trade unions. He works with businesses. He has great relationships with politicians in the area. sometimes has disagreements with folks, let's say, at the Longview City Council, and so rallies other council members to get after other people, to get things back on track. It's a lot of crazy herding of cats and doing it with a patience and a smile that makes people feel like they're included and involved and being heard. And that's not an easy task. So we definitely believe that he deserved that award.
Not only that, but didn't he play a pretty major role in creating that pre-apprenticeship program you were talking about earlier?
Absolutely. So he is the person that the school district reached out to in order to figure out what should we be doing? What program platform should we use? Who can you get to help us make this happen? He and Adam Davis, also on our executive board, did a huge lift in trying to coordinate all of that so that it worked out and is continuing to work out in an amazing way for the students in the Longview School District.
Well, that sounds like it was a heck of an awards night. So now that you've had some time to,
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. We had an award for In Solidarity at the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council, Harold. Nice try. And our award actually went to you, Harold Phillips. And part of the reason that it went to you is because of this show and because of who you are. You are always looking for a way to better our movement, to communicate to everyone, and to make sure that our movement is inclusive for all workers of all shades, of all gender, of all everything. And you, sir, are the definition of solidarity.
well, I have to admit, it was an interesting experience being the MC for this event and then realizing that I was being given an award like this. So I was pretty blown away, pretty honored, I have to say.
And that is why we do this award show, Harold.
Yeah, that actually brings something up. So you have had a little time to recover now. It was a big lift. You guys put a lot of work into this evening. Looking back, was it worth it?
Absolutely. Especially because it was the first time that a lot of us were gathered together in the same room after so long. This platform of Zooms and all those other things are great for staying connected and making sure that we can continue to do the work that we do. But that in person, face to face conversations, seeing all the people that we know and love in the labor movement, and being able to do it on a night where we got to celebrate those people that we know and love in the labor movement, totally worth it.
And I'll just give a colorful yeah, it was worth it. Not only because it was a great night, but as Diana said, everybody needed to finally have a moment together. We were expecting 20 tables. We actually sold out plus at 24 tables. Everybody had a great time. We had an amazing raffle. Everybody went home with something, I'm sure. We had a silent auction that, as we stated at the intro, we raised $6,000 for our Labor's Community Services Agency. So I think it was a successful event. And I'm pretty sure that the boards are going to approve us to have a second one.
I think there's already a date for the second annual awards dinner, isn't there?
That's right. We actually did already get approval, and we do have a date. And I believe it is February 25th, 2023.
Still going to be at the Vancouver Hilton?
Of course, our Union Hotel.
So, what should our union members in Southwest Washington and Cowlitz Wahkiakum be thinking as the year progresses? Who should they be looking at to nominate for next year's awards?
Anybody in the labor movement who's making a difference.
For those people who are giving themselves and their time, maybe that little bit of extra that separates them from the rest of the folks, because let's be honest, we're all giving a lot of ourselves and a lot of our time because this is what we believe in. We know that this makes a difference for people. So it's easy to give that little bit of extra. But there are always those folks that go above and beyond, have a great idea, have a inspirational moment that really gets the group fired up to keep going in contract negotiations despite how difficult management is being. Keep an eye out for those people who are making that difference and who are continuing to show up all the time because we want to honor them.
Well said, Diana Winter. president of the Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Central Labor Council. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here, and thanks for inviting me. And even though I'm not a huge fan of hearing my own voice, I have to say that it's awesome to be part of a labor podcast because it's important stuff.
Well, we think so. Thank you, Diana. And thank you, working people, for listening to another edition of Working to Live in Southwest Washington, produced by the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council.
And remember, labor supports labor. That's why we made sure our Labor Heroes of Southwest Washington awards were 100% union made. And that's why this podcast was recorded under a SAG-AFTRA collective bargaining agreement.
Because that's what you call a commitment to working people. Remember, working people, this is your show. We want to know what you want to hear on it. Email us at podcast@swwaclc.org or find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SWWACLC.
And don't forget to subscribe. April is my birthday month, and it would be awesome if people would give me a present and subscribe to the show and then pass the link on to your friends and family.
And while you're at it, give us 5 stars or polish the Oscars bald head or whatever your podcast listening platform of choice gives you to let people know you like what we're doing here. One last thing, folks. We've talked a lot about the Labor Hero Awards that Southwest Washington Central Labor Council and Cowlitz-Wahkiakum Central Labor Council gave out in February. But you know, you don't have to get an award to be a labor hero. You heard Diana. All you have to do is stand with your fellow working people. Be there for them when they're having a hard time at work, when they're talking about how the manager isn't treating them fairly, when they're asking if you think maybe you could do something together. There are hundreds, thousands of labor heroes around us every single day. They're the ones who decide to stop taking it and to band together with their fellow workers to make a difference in their workplace.
And don't forget, if you do band together and you want a union in your workplace, give us a call, either at the Southwest Washington Central Labor Council or the Cowlitz-Wahkiakum, because we can steer you in the right direction. We can help you out because we are here as a family. And what I always like to say, when you join the movement, the labor movement, you're not alone.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.